Right under your feet, at this very moment, there's a hidden network that's basically the lifeblood of our cities. And no, I'm not talking about roads or subways. This is something way more critical, and you probably never even see it, our wastewater system. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of its most powerful and, potentially dangerous parts.
So, here's a simple question for you, but the answer is this massive engineering puzzle. See, most of our sewer systems are kind of brilliant because they're so simple. They just let gravity do all the work. But let's be real, in our sprawling modern cities with hills and valleys, gravity isn't always on our side. So what do you do then?
To answer that, we've got to go underground. We're about to enter what you could call a pressurized underworld. It's a powerful, super high-stakes network that is absolutely essential for keeping our cities from grinding to a halt.
And this is where something called a force main comes into play. The easiest way to think about it is like the circulatory system for a city's wastewater. When gravity just won't cut it, these incredibly powerful pumps kick on, and they literally force the wastewater through these special pipelines, pushing it uphill to where it needs to go. It's a total brute force solution, but honestly, without it, huge parts of our cities just couldn't exist.
Now, the key thing to wrap your head around here is the pressure. A regular gravity sewer, it's like a lazy river, just kind of flowing along gently. But a force main, that's like a fire hose that's always on, constantly under intense pressure. And that relentless stress is what makes it such a unique engineering headache. When these things fail, we're not talking about slow leaks. We're talking sudden, catastrophic bursts.
So, if these pipes are the city's arteries, a rupture is basically like a massive aneurysm. Let's do a little autopsy on a failure, shall we? We're going to figure out exactly why they break and what it takes to prevent a citywide disaster. Engineers have this really cool tool called an Ishikawa diagram, or a fishbone diagram, which makes sense when you look at it. It reveals something absolutely crucial. A pipe burst is almost never just one single thing going wrong. It's a system failure. Each one of these bones points to a potential cause. Maybe the wrong materials were used, or the installation was sloppy, or a piece of equipment failed. It forces everyone to look at the whole picture to find the real root cause.
And when you really drill down, a few usual suspects pop up again and again. You've got corrosion, which is literally eating the pipe away from the inside out. Then there's damage from a bad installation job or the ground shifting around it. You can even get these insane pressure spikes called water hammer. It's like taking a sledgehammer to the inside of the pipe. Any one of these can create a tiny weak point, just waiting for all that pressure to find it.
And the consequences? They are serious. I mean, look at these charts. They're showing pollutant levels coming out of a treatment facility. The thing to notice here are the spikes. Every single one of those spikes means the system failed to do its job, and dangerous stuff like ammonia and fecal bacteria got released. This is way more than a messy cleanup. It's a direct threat to public health and our environment.
Okay, so how do we stop this from happening? Well, the battle really begins before a single piece of pipe even goes into the ground. Your first line of defense is all about materials science. Plain and simple, we have to build a better pipe.
The old systems often used stuff like cast iron. And sure, it was strong, but it was also heavy, rigid, and super vulnerable to corrosion. Today, we've got way better options. Modern materials like high-density polyethylene, just call it PE, are a total game changer. They are incredibly resistant to all the nasty chemicals and corrosion that just destroyed the older pipes. Plus, they're flexible, which means they can handle shifting ground a lot better.
The engineering experts over at Mueller just nail it with this quote. They say prevention starts with well-informed planning. That's it. Choosing the right material from day one is probably the single most important decision you can make to make sure the system lasts for decades. But, even the best materials need a checkup every now and then. And this is where the technology today gets really cool. We can now actually listen for leaks and find these tiny problems long before they blow up into huge disasters.
So here's how this magic works. Engineers go out and place these super sensitive acoustic sensors at different spots on the pipeline. These sensors are basically listening 24/7 to the sound waves moving through the pipe. Then, an AI gets to work, analyzing these tiny differences in how long it takes for sound to get from one sensor to the next. And by doing that, it can pinpoint the exact location of a minuscule leak or a weak spot in the pipe's wall. It's incredible.
It all boils down to a pretty simple principle, actually. The speed of sound changes depending on the condition of the pipe. A thick, healthy pipe wall carries sound differently than a thin, corroded one.
So by measuring that speed, engineers can get this incredibly detailed picture of the pipe's health without ever bringing in an excavator. It's basically like giving the entire underground network a health checkup, all from the surface.
And all of this amazing data, all this technology, it allows for a totally revolutionary shift in how we think about this stuff. It's about moving from a world where we're just fixing breaks to a world where we prevent them from ever happening in the first place. I mean, for decades, the old way was just reactive. You'd pretty much just wait for a catastrophic burst, and then you'd scramble the crews for an expensive, messy, chaotic emergency repair. The new way is all about being proactive. You use the data from your inspections, from the acoustic monitoring, to actually predict which parts of the network are the most vulnerable, and you fix them before they ever get a chance to fail.
This whole strategy is called risk-based maintenance, and it's all about accepting that, hey, you can't fix everything at once. You just can't. So instead, you use data to find that small percentage of pipes that are at the highest risk of failing and would cause the most damage if they did. And as you can see, you focus almost all of your resources, your time, your money, right there. It's the classic definition of working smarter, not harder.
So, at the end of the day, this data-driven approach gives the people in charge a simple but incredibly powerful priority list. It tells them exactly where to look and precisely what to fix next. It just makes sure that every single dollar from their limited budgets is spent where it's going to do the most good to keep the whole network safe.
So this hidden network of force mains, it's this powerful, high-stakes system that every single one of us relies on every single day, whether we know it or not. We have the materials, we have the technology, and we have the strategy to manage them safely and to prevent disaster. The only question left is, well, it's a question for all of us. Are we truly prepared to make the proactive investment that's needed to secure their future and, by extension, ours?